On your left.
On my left. Got it. Don't say it. Don't you say it.
On your left.
Come on!
What's up, guys? It's Quinn.
It's Will.
It's Adam.
It's Iconic Comic, and we're back with the On Your Left podcast, episode 20.
Mm-hmm.
It's 20 episodes. Now, you guys have only been a couple, but 20 episodes. We started this podcast 3 years ago. So that's not a good average of episodes, but they are going to be ramping up here again, which is always nice. So, we just watched some pretty good reaction videos, I would say. We're getting back into reactions, so if you guys want to send us some videos to react to, feel free. Obviously, we got our email, iconiccomicmail@gmail.com, where you can just comment on one of our videos or something. But it's these fan videos
Have been really good.
They can change a viewpoint of a movie, I feel like.
They also re-hype it for me. Like whenever I'm watching like if we're watching Star Wars, now I want to go watch Star Wars because it just hypes up everything and I just want to watch.
I mean, they're like trailers, kind of. I mean, but it's like a mixture of it's the editing style of a trailer, but with full story points.
Yeah.
And what we always liked back when we were doing a lot of the Marvel stuff before Endgame and Infinity War was these videos that these editors put together that just show you parallels because you can show parallels a lot easier because you can just show them back to back. See this parallel from Star Wars with Luke and Anakin or whatever, or in the MCU, see this Cap and Iron Man parallel. They said something in this movie and it paid off in another movie, and they do it back to back.
What was I going to say? It really like all these edits and stuff. It sort of tells the person that doesn't really pay attention what's happening, the parallels and stuff. Sometimes people don't pick up on those parallels. So when you watch this, it's kind of like a treat. You're connecting the dots.
The people who are watching those edits, however, are probably people that are steeped in it anyway. So it's not going to be I'm a casual fan who's seen each Star Wars movie one time. I'm going to start watching a bunch of fan edits and stuff, unless you just fall in love with it. I was thinking about it today. If Disney, I have no problem with Disney.
I don't. Well, you don't mess with the mouse. So.
Yeah, but I don't I know everybody hears of people talk about Disney they're this big monopoly. They're the evil corporation that just buys everything.
They put out good shit.
That's what I was gonna say though. It's if the content's still good now, has all the content been good? No. Has some of it been watered down? Yes. But that's any company. But dude, I would say they're batting at least 800 right now.
Well, yeah.
It's pretty good. Let's just talk about again Marvel. I don't really talk about it often, but
what's that?
When
I haven't heard of that.
You think about all of the franchises, the nerd franchises. How many ended were great throughout, but then ended amazing. Very few.
Well,
very
also
few ended amazing. Now, obviously, the MCU's not over, but that storyline, that build-up of 10 years is over now. Now we're getting our next 10 years or whatever it is. So,
we don't think they need to wait 10 years?
No, I'm saying it's going to be 10 years of build-up, solo movies, so that. The way Marvel did it before, they need to do that again, but with the newer Avengers.
I thought you were talking about Star Wars. I thought you were talking about...
Well, I do think Star Wars should wait probably about 10 years to do another episode film.
10 years?
Yeah. I mean, it was 10 years between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens, and I think that was the perfect amount of...
It was over 10 years.
It was 2005 to 2015.
Oh, okay.
But I think that was the perfect amount of hype time.
Yeah.
Hype build up, because dude, do you remember when Force Awakens was about to come out, the foaming,
dude,
Endgame was probably peak. I don't know. Even though Endgame made more than Infinity War, I think Infinity War was peak Marvel hype.
Yeah.
Because that was the big crossover movie. Because Endgame really wasn't the big crossover movie. Endgame was the finale movie, but the crossover only happened in the last hour.
Well, I felt like there was more hype for Endgame because people saw Infinity War.
I agree, but I feel like more people, just regular people, the common fan, I heard more people talking about Infinity War than Endgame. When Infinity War was about to come out, you couldn't turn on a TV without seeing a commercial. You couldn't that's all we were talking about. Like the month beforehand, we'd just have conversations and start theorizing and shit.
What's gonna happen?
But we really didn't do that a ton in Endgame because we didn't really have a lot to go off of.
No
one knew how that story was going to go.
Well, also, like,
how do we start talking about that and why we start talking about that?
Because we were talking about Marvel, Disney, and stuff.
Oh, and ending on a high note.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, you have, like, Game of Thrones. Great show, and then it ended very sourly. I mean, you can even say Star Wars. Like, great build-up, lackluster ending. And it's got a deep fan base. Even, you know, Lord of the Rings. Not the Lord of the Rings itself, but The Hobbit. Like, kind of a tough ending.
Yeah. But if we're just talking strictly about Lord of the Rings, it was pretty good.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But...
and then, like, Harry Potter's pretty good. They ended on a very good high note.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good high note, but, like, stuff
pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Harry Potter is way more than pretty good. Come on now.
It's not Endgame level.
Yeah.
It is up there in the best finales of all time. I will give it that. It's just so hard to end clutch. It's hard to stick the landing after such a good vault. And Marvel did it. Star Wars didn't really hit that landing, and I think it was more because of Last Jedi, not so much the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Right? Well, Rise of Skywalker was made the way it was
because of Last
Jedi. So yeah, but when you look at Disney and everybody's like, oh, there's this evil corporation, like whatever, like they buy everything up. They could be the only movie studio and own everything. And if they were coming out with good shit still, I'd be down.
Well, yeah.
I mean, as long as it doesn't matter who owns the studio, as long as the movies and the content they're putting out is good, people will flock to it.
That's all I care about. Like, everybody's like, oh, money, 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 money. Hey, they're putting out good shit. If you
Shut up and take my money.
If you were putting out good shit, you would want to keep that. Like, come on now.
You're right. You're right. I mean, but that's my thing, though. So this morning I was thinking about, like, dude, like, what if Disney Plus, like, what if, like, Disney got the rights to Harry Potter and they got the rights to Lord of the Rings and Star Trek?
Honestly, I would.
And you could just, they were all on Disney Plus, and you could just, it's more about, I'm not really talking about the properties as to do something with them creatively.
Oh, okay.
But I'm more talking about just having them and being able to put them on Disney Plus. I'm such like an ease of access person, and Disney Plus has most of the shit that I like. If they had DC stuff on there, like imagine, like, you know how they got the 5 icons that go across, and imagine if it was like Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, like all the big franchises. That'd be nasty.
They'd probably charge like $40 a month.
I don't know. They already offer us a good amount of shit for it's still $7 a month.
Yeah. Well, even if you go up to like the $12.99 when you get
ESPN Plus,
you get what else? Hulu. Is it Hulu? Yeah,
Hulu Plus. I mean, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, like, stuff you get for the ESPN Plus, too. Like, there's a lot of UFC cards that are ESPN Plus exclusives. Like, where you don't have to pay the pay-per-view, but you also can't watch it on ESPN. Like, it's on ESPN Plus. So, I mean, you can't say you're not getting your money's worth with this show. Yeah. You get the entire 31 seasons of The Simpsons.
Right?
That itself, if you bought, like, all those box sets of the seasons, would cost more than Disney Plus. Well, if you bought all the Marvel movies, it would cost more than Disney Plus. If you bought all the Star Wars movies,
way more.
And all these people are like, it's another streaming service. I can't keep paying all these streaming services.
Then cut it. Then cut the ones you don't want to watch.
But not even just that. But I'm like, I guarantee you, if you're cutting cable, which a lot of people are doing, they're cutting the cord.
I haven't watched cable in like 4 years.
But, I mean, the only reason I still use TV is mostly for sports. I mean, that's really pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't just, like, watch TV, like, try and surf the channels.
I don't watch sports. I have no use.
Disney Plus, Netflix.
I use
YouTube.
Hulu, Crunchyroll.
YouTube, or Hulu. Hulu's got some good stuff.
That's some good stuff.
But now it's Disney, too. So. Yeah. But I guess Hulu is what they're going to use to release some of their more adult content, like probably what they'll put Daredevil and Punisher on once they get.
Well, they also have like actual TV episodes, like are airing right now.
Well, yeah, they have like was it The Runaways and Cloak and Dagger.
Well, they also do it with Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Well, yeah, I don't think Brooklyn Nine-Nine would be horrible to put on Disney Plus. I don't think it's not like super inappropriate or anything. It's on Fox. Well, it was, but it's all like I'm like, I guarantee you, if you took all your streaming services that you had, Disney Plus, Prime, Netflix, Hulu, we'll just count Hulu as one of them, even if you have HBO Max and YouTube Premium, I guarantee you're still spending less money than paying for cable.
Dude, cable is so expensive.
It's ridiculous. And they're just going to keep raising the prices. Like, and the only reason I guarantee that most of these cable companies are surviving is because of the internet.
Yeah.
Like they're like the fact that they do cable,
internet,
phone, and internet. So a lot of these people.
I don't know a lot of people that have a phone, like an actual phone.
A house phone, like a lot of businesses.
Yeah, I got it.
Business. I mean, we have one, but we don't really use it. But I guarantee you that you're still spending less than you are with cable.
Yeah.
And it's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
And all these people are like, well, it's just too many streaming services. Like, what is the difference between you
and really, if you really care that much about the money, then, like, get HBO Max for, like, a month, cancel it, then get Netflix.
I mean, you can be frugal.
Like, you can literally be frugal with this stuff and succeed.
Yeah. Especially, like with OnlyFans, too. You subscribe to this girl.
I wasn't
kidding.
Just
kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so, but, yeah, you can be real frugal with this stuff. But here's the thing. People act like it's such a burden to have all these streaming services. I'm like, dude, your TV, like switching from streaming service to streaming service on most likely what most people have, your smart TV, because like Roku TVs are cheap as hell.
Yeah,
you get a Roku TV like
easy. I have a Roku 4K TV. That's what's in my room.
But just switching from streaming service is no different, in my opinion, than switching from channel to channel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just channel on the cable. Well, now, obviously, you have to do like a little more deep diving into each one. Like, you have to click it and then, like, all right, what show do I want to watch? What movie do I want to watch?
But like on actual television, usually what happens is
scroll.
You're scrolling. You hit a show that you like, and you're like, "Ooh, I just want to watch this for a bit." And then after the 15 minutes are up, it's like, "Oh, now we got to watch some other shit."
Yeah. Or you're on your or you're like. You hit a channel and you're like, oh, I like this show, but it's our commercial. Well, while it's on a commercial, I go through the guide again and keep looking for like a second channel, flip back and forth.
I feel like you also settle if you're watching TV. Like,
I settle so often.
If there's something like if there's a movie on, you're like, okay, I'll watch it.
And it's the TV version, so it's gonna be commercials. There's gonna be all this crap.
But then when you go on streaming services, it has
keep looking at that for.
It has most of everything that you want.
Now.
What's wrong with you?
That's a blessing and a curse because
it's not where it's recording, Adam.
Are we good?
We're good. It's recording.
Right.
God, Adam, stop getting distracted.
Do you guys hear anything I just said?
No.
Okay. Well, like, so you're settling on like TV and stuff. Like, if you see something like, okay, sure, I'll watch it. Like, if you're on a streaming service,
you don't settle. You find what you want.
But that can also be a blessing and a curse because sometimes you get overwhelmed with a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
it's like going to a restaurant and having like a menu that has like, oh, this restaurant has pasta, steak, chicken, seafood.
Well, it's like you pay
burgers.
You pay like $15 for an entree. You have a list of entrees.
Like, well, I wish there was a way to get a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
and that's what the streaming service is for.
But with the streaming service, I have felt this before. Like, I look at a show and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too many episodes. I'm just not even gonna get into this.
Which is weird because you can just binge it all. But your body sometimes... But we talked about that. It's those 20-episode seasons where I'm just like, that's too much. Like I'm already too far behind. It's like...
well, a TV show that I just finished was Schitt's Creek. And every season...
show.
Yeah, it's very funny. It was great. Every season's 13 episodes. The last one's 14.
Like
it's
8
the
to 13.
Spot.
I like 8.
8 to 13. I like 10's good. Isn't Stranger Things 10 or is that 8?
I think it's 10
or 11.
Yeah,
give it 11. But I actually just saw something on Instagram the other day. It was like a meme, but it was like basically it said people who have anxiety or depression tend to be the people who go on streaming services and watch the same movies or shows all the time. Because it's something safe that they know is going to be good, that they don't have to worry about like getting shocked by something or something like that. There seems to be a lot of truth to that, though. Not that I'm like I'm super depressed or anything, but I mean I have anxiety a lot, so like I guarantee you, everybody's got a little bit of anxiety though. So like whenever you're feeling anxious or something like that, don't you always like put something on TV that or YouTube or something that you know you're already into that you like, or music that you're already into, and like it's like you're safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of get that.
Well, I use Netflix mainly for background.
A lot of it, yeah. Like
now,
The Office and stuff. Like, and it's got to be something that I've seen before that I can just throw back there.
I said this on the last podcast, but I like to throw up new series in the background and see if I can put together what happened, like I did with Schitt's Creek. And
that sounds horrific to do. Like half-ass watch it in the background and then be like, all right, what do I think happened in that episode?
No, it's not like that. It's more of like the main story points. Like with Arrow, I did that with the last season, with like season 7 or whatever. 7 seasons too many. But like,
so disgusting.
I got most of it.
See, my OCD would really get bothered by that. Like, same. I get mad when I can't hear every word.
Oh.
Which, by the way, we talk about, I'm not a big subtitles fan.
I love subtitles.
I don't so I know so many people now who watch Netflix with the subtitles on. See, I just don't like reading.
See, I have FOMO with that.
Really?
Fear of missing out. Like I fear that I'm gonna miss like something super funny, and then like somebody's gonna try and talk to me about it.
So you like subtitles, or are you saying that you're afraid you're gonna miss what's going on the screen?
Yeah,
if you're
like
looking
if
at
you're
the words.
no subtitles I like. If the will thing, how you like kind of just put it off in the background.
Yeah.
I miss the little things.
Yeah, or like maybe even like you miss like a really funny thing and like
right.
I don't know. I have really bad.
I think I saw something on like either Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and this guy asked this girl why do you keep subtitles on, and she's like, "'Cause I can't miss if there's footsteps coming up." Like, so you know how
they do the sound
ones
too.
I think I could actually do a horror movie if I could like know when it's coming.
That'd be horrific. I didn't mean to make a joke about that, but like
horrific.
But I have thought about just for like, especially I think for like Lord of the Rings, putting the subtitles up might be good because there's a lot and you don't want to miss what somebody says if it's your first time. Like Adam.
I think I started using subtitles when I was watching Game of Thrones all the way through.
For all the names.
Yeah, because you have so many. Like, it's not like Harry Potter where there's like a chunk of God, Adam.
Adam's getting some Uncrustables. Bring me one of them? God, thanks, bro. So yeah, I'm indifferent about subtitles. I don't like subtitles if it's something I've already seen before. Or if it's something new.
Really?
I like subtitles when it's something I've already seen.
And you want to think about something new?
I don't love it. But when it's something new, if I'm constantly looking down at the words, I think I'm going to miss something on the screen. Even if it's not something big, if it's something small. Yeah. It could be like just a little character moment or something. I want to make sure I get all of that.
Yeah. I think because I watch a lot of anime and forum stuff, so I need subtitles.
Right, because it's a different language.
Yeah.
I learn Japanese.
Or Korean.
Right.
Which, I mean, I wouldn't mind. It'd be kind of cool.
So you're actually going to be surprised.
Do you like anime? Come on,
no.
say you like anime.
No. You're actually going to be surprised. Do you like anime?
I watched a foreign show.
Okay. What was it?
How to Sell Drugs Online Fast.
God.
What show is this?
What language was it in?
Oh, I have no idea. Not English.
Was it like German, Korean, Japanese?
I have no idea.
Russian.
No idea. But
could you recognize the accent?
No. It was on Netflix. There's 2 seasons. 2 seasons.
All right.
How to Sell Drugs Quick.
How to Sell Drugs Online Fast.
Okay.
We do not condone that. By the way. It was not a sponsor.
It's a really good show.
Is it?
Well, at least the first season. I haven't seen the second.
So, yeah, subtitles are kind of...
Well, it's in Europe.
Wishy-washy. I sometimes I can do them. I mean, you definitely need them for foreign movies if you don't understand the language.
Adam, I probably know the answer. Have you seen Parasite yet?
No, Adam has not seen Parasite. What kind of question is that? Adam hasn't seen Lord of the Rings. He's going to have seen some foreign film.
He's kind of spotty in some situations. I mean, he watched How to Sell Drugs Online Fast.
That just caught me by the title.
You caught you by the title. I wonder why. So I've been watching a lot of video game documentaries on YouTube. There's like a couple channels that do really well, but it's fun to see these games and the timeline of these studios. Like when they started off and like they're just such a small studio and they barely do anything, and then they make a great game and then they get the moolah and they get a cult following. So I was watching about like Half-Life. How Half-Life made this great game back in, I think it was 97, or Valve was the company. The same people make Portal, stuff like that, which takes place in the Half-Life universe. But Half-Life was their like first game back in 97, and it revolutionized like the PC first-person shooter because it was like great shooter, but also great story, great characters, stuff like that. Half-Life 2 comes out in 2004, 7 years later, and now for 16 years. I mean, technically they did the episodes I think in 2005. I think 2005, 2006, 2007, or whatever, like the DLCs. Yeah. But still, basically, 16 years later, people are still clamoring for Half-Life 3.
Well,
I don't think they're going to make it.
They made
it's
like
too
a
late.
VR Half-Life, the Alex one.
No thanks. I don't like. I'm not a VR person.
Adam, FYI, How to Sell Drugs Online Fast is in German. German.
It's kind of sounded like that. Like they kind of like.
Not kind of. It did sound like that because it was German. Like,
I don't know. I had subtitles on.
I would hope so.
Unless you know German.
There's some closeted German speaker that we didn't know about. But it's just fun to see these companies that are like they start off and like they're just such a small company, and then I mean I guess that's what all companies are, I guess. Yeah. But it's fun to see it in video games because it's such a like consumer like driven product. Like it's. If your game doesn't sell, even if it has a cult following, even if a bunch of people love the game but it didn't sell well, it's done. You might get the rare like Psychonauts 2 or something like that that's coming out, but how many years did that take? A lot. A long amount of time. So like seeing these companies like Rockstar, who again start off with some like rando games. A lot of these companies start off with games that aren't even close to what they make now. Like they made some rando games that are like a driving game or some like BS sport. Like Bethesda, some of their first games were Wayne Gretzky hockey games and Terminator games based off the movies. And then they made Arena, and it started the Elder Scrolls series, and now we have Skyrim. So like this company that made hockey games now is making the biggest RPGs with Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and they're making Bethesda has Doom now, right?
Yes, I think so.
I want to play Doom.
Doom is so good.
Fun.
It's so fun because it's literally just like story is like so tiny, and it's just run, gun, shoot aliens and zombies, and they play heavy metal rock music in the background.
I'm gonna tie subscriptions into this. You can get it on Game Pass, which is an amazing subscription.
Not a sponsor, but okay.
A game that like really came out of nowhere from an unknown company is Cuphead.
Cuphead's big
because nobody's heard of Studio MDHR,
but they do now.
Yeah,
Cuphead's huge. Yeah, it's an infuriating game.
Oh yeah,
I hate it. There's no health. There's no ammo. There's no health bars. So you just keep shooting the enemy until it dies.
Well,
you have no idea.
I mean, are you going to play a game that's infuriating more, or are you going to play a game that's easy?
Depends how good the story is of the game that's easy. If the story's really good on the easy game, I'm definitely going to go with the easy game because the infuriating Cuphead has like zero story. I mean, it has come on, this is not like okay. It has story.
Why is it hard? Like I've never even seen it. It doesn't even look.
It's
like
hard
that.
Mechanics. Yeah. The enemy types are each one's so different from the next. Not a lot of health, and again, difficulty from the point of view of you don't have health bars on enemies. Oh, and then the checkpoint system.
What checkpoint system?
Right. It basically sends you back to the beginning of the level every time if you die. There's some checkpoints that won't send you back to the beginning,
the whole story behind it is guys, they sell their soul to the devil, and they want to get their soul back by defeating other people who sold their soul to the devil.
That's what Cuphead is?
That's the main gist of the story.
That is not what I was expecting at all.
I mean,
at all.
If you play Footsies with me one more time, but it's not like a great story. It's a story, but like every video game's got a story.
But the gameplay makes up for it.
But that's what I'm saying. Is I'm like, but if I had my choice between easy game with a fantastic story or infuriating game with a lackluster story, I mean, I'm sorry, but and I'm not saying Cuphead's not a great game. It obviously is. It's sold a bunch of copies of it.
It has a 10 out of 10 on Steam.
10 out of 10 is a little much, I feel like. But because here's my thing. Like, I do feel like, well, I guess, you know what? I take this back. Because story is not everything. Mm-hmm. So, great gameplay can make up for lackluster story. And
agree.
And a great story can make up for lackluster gameplay sometimes. Like Super Mario. The original Super Mario, just the going across the screen, is still one of the best video games of all time. Not much story behind that. It's plumber dude needs to save princess from dinosaur looking dude. And go. Like, not a complex story. Now they got more complex as the Mario games came out, but that's still, I guarantee you, if you looked it up, like top 100 video games of all time, Super Mario is definitely in there. Mm-hmm. Like
and Peach does a great job of getting kidnapped every single game.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
So,
well, also like the aesthetic of Cuphead.
That's the other thing. The visuals.
I think that was the main.
That's the main reason.
Seller.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's an old timey like 1950s, 40s like vibe.
Right, absolutely. So I don't have a problem with Cuphead. It's just I also don't have the giant patience to play said game.
One of my biggest pet peeves are like things that I look at in a game is graphics.
Yep.
Every single time. I can't if
it was just the age you were born in. You didn't have to grow up with shitty graphics, really.
Yeah.
There's a choice now to either if you have shitty graphics now, it's your fault. Mm-hmm. It's not because of the technology that we have available to us. Yeah. Which back in the day, like some of the graphics that you would look at right now and vomit were like top notch. People would look at like, oh my god. Look at all the polygons on that person. Like the polygon count is so high, and they look like a blockhead.
Yeah. Well, the original like Final Fantasy VII, the transition between Final Fantasy VII and 8 is night and day.
Right.
Because here I'll show you guys a picture of Final Fantasy VII.
But with back in the day, getting people's mouths to move was ridiculously hard. Yeah, but
to
me, I look at gameplay and story over.
That's Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's 8?
And then
I wasn't a Final Fantasy person either growing up. I don't know why.
Final Fantasy.
I'm more of a Western RPG person than the. It's a definite upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, in today's standards, not great, but this was in what?
Here's the thing. There's a lot of games out there that still hold up with graphics from 2006 and 7 and whatever. Like there are not a lot, but there are. So like Super Mario Sunshine, because it's not. I think it was the Oblivion review I was looking at, but basically, even the OG Red Dead Redemption still looks pretty good. Grand Theft Auto 4 still looks pretty good.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Well, that game is getting updated all the time.
Grand Theft Auto 5 has three consoles under its belt.
Okay, that's not a good judgment because Skyrim has like 80 consoles under its belt. Skyrim's on the Switch. It's on Xbox 360,
PS3.
I'm
Xbox
talking
360, Xbox
3
One.
console generation.
So Skyrim.
What is Skyrim?
Was GTA 5
PS3, PS4?
Yeah, PS3, PS4, and I guarantee there's gonna be a Skyrim for PS5.
Yeah. Xbox 360, but any Xbox One. Xbox Series X, probably.
It's gotta be. Well, it already is. Yeah, it's on the.
Well,
Game
that's
Pass,
what GTA has too.
But what I'm saying is, but those are the games that can do that. Games that offer you so many hours of gameplay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So those are the games that are gonna last you up. But that's not even talking about graphics. I'm talking like. I heard it was like if you purposely try to make your graphics look realistic, at some point it's going to look outdated.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Even GTA 5 right now, even Cyberpunk, 20 years from now, it's going to look outdated because they're trying to make it look realistic. The games where that's not the point, it's not supposed to look realistic, like Super Mario Sunshine, nothing looks like that in real life. So it still looks good today. Like the water effects still look good, and the sand effects, and because it's a platforming game, it's not meant to look realistic. The games that they're trying to make all this blade of grass here and the facial expressions, we're going to be able to do that better 20 years from now, and that'll look like garbage.
See, I do not like this game, but this game did the art that very well, and that's Fortnite. I feel like they did.
It's timeless graphics because it's not realistic.
Yeah. So I think
it's pleasing to the eye, the colors and stuff.
I like those games more than realistic games because in realistic games I get picky. I get very picky.
Right.
Because like when I'm looking at like the sky or something.
Did you like Red Dead?
I like Red Dead. Yeah. There were some moments that I'm like, okay, that does not look like that.
Like OG Red Dead or Red Dead 2?
Red Dead 2.
Yeah, I'm talking Red Dead 2.
But the other thing though, if you've got realistic graphics, but it's a game that's like going to be a timeless classic story-wise, and like it was revolutionary for its time, those can live on.
Yes.
Like Oblivion definitely does not live up to Skyrim's graphics.
But people aren't playing it for
But going back,
they're playing it for online. Too.
Oblivion?
Yeah, isn't Oblivion online?
No.
no
playing for the story.
no Elder Scroll game is multiplayer.
Are you sure?
Yes, there's Elder Scrolls Online, which is but it's not made by the same company.
No.
It's just used the stories and stuff. So Oblivion, but I was watching this 4-hour review of Oblivion yesterday. I didn't finish it. It was a retrospective on it, and he definitely picked out its flaws and stuff, like with its RPG elements. Some of them were just a little flawed, like the leveling system and stuff like that. But he was like, I was afraid when I was going to go back to play this because I remember when you walk out of that prison in Oblivion for the first time and you see what the Xbox 360, what the PC could do at the time, and they used it to its full potential, and you had this massive open world where you're stuck. Elder Scrolls does it so well. You're stuck. Every game starts off the same way. You're a prisoner, and you kind of have to go through a cave or a prison or something, and you get used to this like corridor aesthetic of like, all right, it's like a linear level, point A to point B, and at the very end they open you up to the free world. And it's because they start you off in that crammed, confined space in the dark, prisoner. You don't know what's going on, and then they open that door and you see the world. When you step out in Oblivion the first time, to this day I get goosebumps because you start in that prison, you're fighting rats and goblins, and then this beautiful lakes, tundras, forests, and stuff. You're looking around mountains.
Then you're free, and you're basically
right. And I was afraid, just like this guy was afraid that I watched last night. That he was like, when I go back and play it. Because I remember growing up playing Oblivion and being just enamored by the beauty of it, like the forest, like the flowers, like just I could go pick this flower, the way the trees, the grass, the foliage looked,
so good,
the water and everything. And he's like, I was afraid it was going to look bad, but I loved it, even though it's not up to standard nowadays. I still thought it looked beautiful because of the whole game kind of captures 2005, 2006 graphics. So if I put myself, because I'm a nostalgia for that game, I can put myself back in 2006 when I play it. There are some games when I go back from like 2004 or 5 or whatever that I'm like, I can't put myself in the mindset of that year, and it looks like poop.
Well, when you streamed Battlefield 2 a couple weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, whenever this is coming out, how did you feel?
It looked amazing,
right?
Even though it doesn't look as it definitely doesn't look as
it
good
doesn't
as
hold up.
Battlefront 2 now.
Yeah,
the OG Battlefront.
But
2.
I feel like you had to grow up with that because I didn't really like the aesthetic of it.
Right, but see, that's the hardest thing I feel about the difference between video games and movies. Is you can show someone a movie that came out 40 years ago and they love it.
Well, yeah,
it's kind of hard to do that with video games
because I feel like movies are like older movies are considered like very artsy. And stuff, and how they do this stuff.
Well, video games are an art too.
Yeah,
but it's
not on the same scale though.
But it's a different kind of art because you are in control of it. Like it's the art of making it is separate from the art of playing it. And with a movie, you just watch it. You're not changing the outcome of anything. You're not affected by anything. Even if the CGI in said movie it doesn't live up to the way it does now. Like you watch this, Harry Potter movie. Yeah. Even if the CGI doesn't hold up, it's like, I feel like with movies, it's much easier to put yourself in that time when it came out. Because you see a black and white movie, you're going to be like, this looks like shit. It's like, no, I understand why it's black and white because it came out in the 40s or 50s or whatever.
Well, a couple years ago, I think the movie was Roma or something like that. The movie was intentionally shot in black and white.
But yeah, if it's intentionally shot there, then I'm understanding it. So it's just tough to show younger people older video games and have the same effect because you didn't grow up with it, and it's hard to put yourself in the mindset of when it came out. Mm-hmm. Because you get so much better stuff. Not better stories or better gameplay. Some, yes, but it's not saying the stuff back then isn't better than some of the stuff now, because it is. But everything's held to such a high standard graphically now that it's tough if you've never played the old school stuff to go back and look at those graphics and say, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah. Well, like if I got you to play Final Fantasy VII, the original one, and then I got you to play Final Fantasy Remake, it'd be night and day. Because the remake is like Red Dead Redemption level graphics.
Okay.
Well, I showed you a picture of the original Final Fantasy VII.
See, like I said, I think the only reason I didn't get into Final Fantasy was because I was much more of a like Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, Western style RPG person, where it was like knights and wizards and stuff like that.
Well, also it was turn-based combat, so I don't know if you're against that or whatever.
The old school ones.
Yeah, the old school.
The newer ones are different, right?
Well, yeah. So
they're
like Final Fantasy 14, 15, and the remake are
15.
Yeah.
God's sakes.
Yeah, there's a lot. They're more like beat 'em ups sort of deal.
Put 'em up.
But in Final Fantasy remake, you can go back to the turn-based stuff.
You can go back to it?
Yeah. Which I just think it takes away, but it's kind of nice to go back to that.
I just want to play Oblivion now. There's just, I don't know, with video games, I mean, I guess it's like movies and music and everything, but just for me personally, video games are such a, just people have their camps.
Yeah.
Like people have their favorites, but I also don't think, unlike movies and music and stuff, I don't think video games, they obviously do here and there, I don't think video games have as many like camps. I'm not talking about console wars, I'm talking about actual games.
Yeah.
I don't think with video games there's as much like, well, this stuff's the best and your video game sucks. It feels more welcoming to like, you like your shit, I like my shit. It's fine to disagree because, hey, you like that video game because you play it, you have control over it. It's kind of your destiny. My destiny was not on that path. My destiny was to play these games, and this is what I fell in love with. Now, I'm not saying your games are bad, but no, you get to every now and then hate on games. But here's the thing: I don't ever feel like it's like two groups against each other. It always feels like the gaming community gets together to hate on a piece of shit game that came out and got released. Like when Infinite Warfare came out, the whole gaming community was like, fuck that game. And when Battlefront 1 and 2 came out originally, people are like, fuck that game. Then they listened to us, which is what a good studio should do.
Has there really been a Black Ops or a Call of Duty game every single year?
I don't remember the last time there wasn't one. They're usually yearly.
Okay, let's just go back.
I don't follow that.
So
I think it's yearly release. So
I know back, wasn't it like World War II? World War II. This is as far as World War II, then Black Ops 4, then
here we go.
Modern Warfare.
All right. You balls.
Because Cold War, I keep on forgetting to play it because I've been playing Red Dead, but I have it. It is fun, dude.
All right. Main series. Okay, so the yearly release stuff didn't really start happening until Call of Duty 4. So Call of Duty, the original, 2003. Call of Duty 2, 2005. Call of Duty 3, 2006. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. So the first Modern Warfare was 2007. So I guess 2005 is when it started. So Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare Remastered, and Infinite Warfare in the same year. World War 2, Black Ops 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, and Cold War this year.
Cold War was good.
So it's been every year since 2005.
Huh. Let's talk about how I don't know how you did not finish Modern Warfare campaign.
I haven't even started it.
Oh my gosh!
Why didn't you start it?
Because I got too sucked in by the multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
It's like
this game is my favorite story game of any Call of Duty.
Oh, I thought you were saying any game all the time. I'm like, Jesus, Adam. Like, I'm deleting that off the podcast.
Like any Call of Duty, it almost goes to like that plane scene where you shoot at the airport. it goes to some of those lengths.
Right.
Which I love, because that's what war is. There's shitty shit that happens.
Shitty shit.
Shitty shit that happens.
Well, now I can't even download the fucking game.
Because it's like 200 gigabytes?
It's so massive, and I don't... For a campaign, unless I could just download the campaign only, if that's an option, then I'll do that. But otherwise, good. Gucci. But yeah, it's just... I have an appreciation for games that come out a lot, like a popular series, like... Call of Duty or whatever. It's not like they come out every year by the same studio. So, like, right now, Cold War just got released, which was released by Treyarch. So, since Modern Warfare released, and through next year, so a 2-year cycle, Infinity Ward is making theirs.
Yeah.
Starting after Cold War comes out, Treyarch's making theirs for 2022. So it's not like they're just cranking them out every year, and it's like cookie cutter. Some of them have been, but a 2-year development cycle for Halloween, from a Call of Duty game is not short, and it's not. It doesn't like their cycles don't need to be 4 or 5 years.
No,
it's first-person shooter. It's linear mission levels. It's not like it's an open world. Multiplayer, you can obviously make improvements on. Obviously, you need to make the maps or whatever, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
See, with Cold War, if you don't do it right, apparently you can get a bad ending.
Huh.
That's the way Black Ops, or something was. Might have been. Oh, that was like I can't remember which one it was, but there were some Call of Duties that did that before, where like you could choose your ending, basically, which...
I think it was Black Ops 2.
It might have been Black Ops 2.
I think it was Black Ops 2.
But there's good and bad to that. Like, I don't really care, but it does. I just wish it told me what to do, because I'm always going to do the good thing. Yeah. So I always want to be the hero in the story. I don't like being the bad guy. Like, the only time I like being a bad guy is like
GTA.
Red Dead or GTA. Because it's like, you know what, this game is about just going for it, going the extra mile.
What's a game that you've played and hated?
Played and hated. I will say not many, because I don't usually buy the ones that I'm not interested in. And if I am even a little bit interested in it, I'm probably going to like it. Even if it didn't live up to my expectations, I'm probably still going to like it. Played and hated. That's tough. I feel like, Adam, you're very
Just
similar.
Cause 4.
Just Cause 4. You probably get some hate for that one.
It's shit.
I don't know, man. That's
Just Cause 3 was amazing. Just Cause 4, poopy.
So, God, that's tough.
Yeah.
Probably Battlefront 1.
Battlefront 1, really?
Star Wars
okay.
Battlefront 1.
Okay.
Because no campaign, it just got boring after a while. Like, I literally stopped playing it after like 2 weekends. I was like, I'm done. I'm bored. So, but I don't even know if I would say hate. Because they did even though Battlefront 1 and 2, Battlefront 2 is way better now, but even though Battlefront 1 and 2 had lackluster launches, I can't say they didn't put effort into the aesthetic of the Star Wars universe and the sounds and stuff.
This is what I say about video game haters, where they're like, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. It's too expensive.
I don't think $60 is too... Well...
How much do you pay for a movie ticket? Like $15, $20?
Here's my thing, though. But before you go into that, I do think $60 is too expensive for some games, and it's overpriced. So, like Battlefront 1, Titanfall, $60 is not worth that, because you're only getting one aspect of the game. If you're gonna tell me I've spent $60, it better be either.
I'm saying AAA, Rockstar, like Red Dead.
Okay,
3.
but what I'm saying is, does it have a multiplayer and a single player?
Yes.
Okay, then $60 is worth it, in my opinion. If it only has a single player, it better be like Skyrim, like open world. You have hundreds of hours of gameplay, worth $60. If it's only a multiplayer, that's a tough sell for me. That's a tough sell to, like, even if it's the really, really good multiplayer, I'm going to get tired of it at some point, and there's nothing to cleanse my palate on. There's nothing to be like, well, I'm going to take a break and go play story mode for a little bit and then come back to multiplayer. There's none of that. So, but to go against my point, I guess if it's a good enough multiplayer, you can do that too.
So, you know how, like, people, like...
Because I bought Modern Warfare and only played the multiplayer, so I guess... I guess that's true.
Like, what do you get? Like, for $20, you get about, like, what, a 2-hour, 3-hour showing?
Most likely 2.
Yeah. And you can't see it again without paying more money.
Paying again, yeah.
With video games, most of the time, with a $60, and if you get it to its potential and you do most of the stuff, I would say at least 50% of everything. Wouldn't you say? 50% of everything kind of says you've played the game a little bit.
What do you mean, 50%?
Like 50%, you've got like
of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah.
Like if you have 50%, I feel like that's.
But again, basically, we're not saying anything that's controversial. If it's a decent game, $60 is fine. Mm-hmm. If it gives you enough stuff to do, $60 is fine. My only issues are games that are like, I don't like. Here are good examples of not wanting to pay $60. Destiny. You know why? Because it was shipped as like half a game. That's the other thing. Like, even if the game, like Battlefront 2 is not worth $60. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is not worth $60. You know why?
What?
It's not worth $60.
It was if it launched like it did.
That's the point, though, and not even just that game, but like games like Destiny, where it's like, oh hey, you're gonna get a full game over the course of the next 2 years. That's not worth $60 because $60 means I want $60 worth of that now. Well, it's going to be $60 worth, but it's going to take 2 years. And honestly, by the time year 2's up, you're not going to give a shit about this game because over a 2-year span, there's going to be way more titles that come out that are just going to catch your eye. So I only want to pay $60 for a game that comes out as intended. Released and shipped as intended. Not made, chopped up into 3 DLCs, push those over there, release you our beta version of the game, and then roll out DLCs that you either have to pay for, or if you want them, you have to buy the season pass. Now, you might get the updates, which, you know, I will say Modern Warfare did a good job with updates. Free updates.
GTA and
GTA does a good
our
job
Red
with,
Dead.
Updates. Red Dead
All
does
free.
too.
All free.
But, I mean, EA is pretty garbage when it comes to their updates and what you pay for and DLCs and stuff like that. I remember the first DLC, really, of all time, I mean, there's probably one before this, but it was pretty much the first one, the first memorable one, was for Oblivion. And it used to be made fun of a lot. It was called Horse Armor. You literally paid like $1.99, and then you got armor for your horse. It was just aesthetics. It had no purpose in the game.
In Forza Horizon 4, I paid $5 just to get a Corvette.
But that's different, though. You're buying an actual car. I was just buying horse armor that did nothing. It didn't add a shield to my horse. It didn't add anything. My horse could still die normally. It just had this armor on it. So the joke for the next couple of years, and you could probably still use this joke now and people will understand, was if it was a pointless, just cash grab DLC, they called it the horse armor DLC. But now, that looks so innocent in comparison. Like horse armor. That looks so innocent in comparison to some of the shit that they want us to buy in the DLCs.
Now in like all like the games like Fortnite and stuff, you have to spend money to basically get the best skins.
Yeah.
And those are the bad
Not
games.
to be good.
Not even just the best skins, but the best weapons, the best stuff.
Not in Fortnite.
Here's my thing. If a DLC, but you don't have to, but I'm saying if a DLC or not just, let's just say something bought and paid for in a game makes you a better player, whether that be through skill or through weapons, should not be a part of the game. You shouldn't be able to pay to be better than other people.
Well, that's why Fortnite was so good, because you can't pay to be better.
Can you get better weapons, though?
No.
No? Okay. So how do you get better weapons?
Every single map starts blank. 100 people drop in to wherever you want on the map. Can
you get better armor?
No,
you can't unless it's on the field.
It's not
not
pay to win.
So everybody starts off with the same stuff.
Same stuff. Yeah. You can have like different skins, but they're just cosmetic.
So like, how does sometimes you pick up a gun and it's got like 10 bullets in it and it's just a fresh gun off the battlefield, and then sometimes I kill somebody, pick up their gun, and they have like 500 bullets in it. It's the same gun that I saw earlier. They found that much ammo. There's no way to buy ammo pre-game, so you already have
you gotta be checking ammo crates. Like there's so much stuff.
Well, I'll give it that, but my point still stands is I hate games that give you an option to spend money and become better than other people just because you spend
now
money.
On the single player Fortnite, which nobody plays, well, not a lot of people play, you can pay money to get better.
That's fine, but you're not competing against anybody, so I'm fine with that. Basically, get your shit together, EA.
Yeah.
EA was pretty bad with that shit. And the best stuff that EA has done recently is probably just Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order. It's probably the best thing they've done recently.
Can I just say how
updates for Battlefront 2 because the EA Sports games are so cookie cutter, copy paste bullshit now.
It's the same thing every year.
You know how much more money they'd probably make if they didn't release a new Madden or whatever game, their sports game, even going back to the old days. If they didn't release a new Madden until they actually had a graphical update, and all they did was charge for updated rosters. I would pay for that. Like, not $60, but be like, you want the 2020, 2021 rosters? Because it's the same game. The graphics are not any different than last year. They aren't at all. You want updated rosters? It's a $15 one-time charge, and we'll update them throughout the year for you. Like if there's trades or anything like that. And then when the next year comes up, it's like a subscription. They would make way more money. They would be way more appreciative of the fans. They'd save money because they didn't have to print and ship more games. And they could spend that money and use that money that everybody would pay for to upgrade or to work on the next game, make it better.
They've been adding some cool new modes, but they're not addressing the things that they've messed up in the past. Like franchise mode is a huge part of like there's literally a franchise community, like a Madden franchise community on YouTube. Like we want updates, no updates, like literally no updates for like a couple of years.
That's ridiculous. What's the word? That's inexcusable.
Yeah,
for a game company to charge you $60 more every year for a game that is more or less the same with updated rosters.
Yes. It's like, especially like if it was like some like crappy little version, like I don't care that they haven't changed practice mode. I mean, there's only a little stuff you can do on practice mode, but like when they're not changing anything, that's just like the big stuff, like franchise mode, I mean, they did add like Superstar KO. I don't know, you guys haven't really played that.
Nope.
No.
Well, there's just a lot of new added stuff that they're adding, but not adding in the right places.
Well, nice podcast, guys. It's a good one.
We went from talking about movies to video games.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about video games recently. Well, let us know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe so you don't miss a single thing from the channel. And as always, make sure you stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music. Snap.
It is.
All right, cool. Press the record button, please. Or stop.
All right, let's get the movie.
Holy Grail.